Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's information session with Rocket Companies. My name is LaVonda Taylor. I'm an employer outreach specialist for the University of Arizona Global Campus. We're excited you could join us today to learn more about this exciting career opportunities with Rocket Companies. So before I turn the floor over to Rocket Companies, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded. For all those who registered for today's information session, the recording will be emailed to you in a few days. During and at the end of the presentation, we will take time to answer as many questions as possible. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a Q&A button. You can submit questions with your name or anonymously to be answered live. We will do our best to get as many questions as we can. However, if your question is not answered by the end of the presentation, you can email careerservices@uagc.edu, and we will follow up with Rocket to get any remaining questions answered. Also, feel free to engage in the chat. You can pose a question in the chat, and Rocket Company and the members of the Career Service team will be available to help answer questions throughout the presentation. If you have any technical difficulties, we recommend logging out of Zoom and logging back in. Now, I'd like to introduce our guest employer. Joining us today is Don Wright. He is the team leader of Rocket Company's Veteran Hiring Program and a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. His career started with Rocket back in 2015 as an entry-level recruiter before joining the Veteran Hiring Program in 2016. Don was promoted to the team leader in 2019, and he has helped Rocket Companies to accomplish the best veteran hiring years in the company's history from 2020 to 2022. We also have joining us Corey Kelly. He is the business program manager for Rocket Company's Veteran Hiring Program, where he supports the program's growth, organization, and engagement on all levels. Prior to joining Rocket Companies, Corey served in the U.S. Navy from 2009 to 2013. And finally, joining us is Eric Jones. He is the Senior University Relations Manager. Eric cultivates university partnerships and recruits top student talent for internships and entry-level positions at Rocket Companies. He also helps provide the foundation for Rocket Central University recruiting team to enhance their early career pipeline, strengthen their communities, and ultimately help individuals launch successful careers. Eric has worked for Rocket for nearly 16 years. Don, Corey, and Eric, we are excited to hear your presentation, and thank you for joining us today. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that warm intro. And hello, everyone. Welcome. We're so excited to be presenting with you today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can get started. Make sure we got this correctly. How are we looking? All right. So again, welcome. We are the Rocket Companies at Veteran Hiring Programs and the University Relations team, and we're excited to be in front of you today. We have a lot of information to cover in a short amount of time, so we're going to be pretty quick, but we do want to make sure that you all understand. If you do have questions that are relevant to the information or the slides that we're covering, feel free to raise your hand or throw a question in the chat, and if we can get to it in real time, we will, but we're also going to have a question and answer session at the end. So if we don't get to one of your questions, we're going to try and circle back to it. But we have this QR code on the screen now, and I'm going to go ahead and move it to the next screen. This is the same QR code, but I wanted to make sure everyone understands. If you are interested in learning more about Rocket Companies, our career opportunities, our products, please start by scanning this code or using the link that I put in the chat. And I'll go ahead and put it in the chat one more time, just so everyone has it. We'll open the chat. Well, I can't see the chat right now. There it is. All right. Here is that link one more time, just in case you're not able to use your QR code. But the reason we want you to start with that is it's going to bring you to this landing page that you see over here on the right. The only required information that you have to give us is your name, your email address, and then your expected graduation date, along with choosing one of the areas of opportunity that you might want to focus on. Now, the reason we wanted to put some emphasis on this is because if you or your spouse served in the military, we definitely want to make sure we're identifying you, because our veteran hiring program wants to make sure that we're engaging you correctly and giving you the opportunities to get in touch with us directly. So if you do have affiliations with the military, please make sure that you are checking this veteran option down at the very bottom of the sourcing business area. And then if you're not affiliated with the military, no worries. That's why Eric is here. We definitely want to give you all the opportunity to engage with us as well. So go ahead and choose any of those business areas that do interest you, whether it be in the sourcing area or at the bottom in the areas of interests. But please do make sure you're self-identifying if you or your spouse have served directly, so that our veteran hiring program can get in touch with you as soon as possible. But just jumping right in, we wanted to start with a pretty cool video that's going to give you guys a little bit of insight into our Detroit office. Now, there's going to be a lot of focus on Detroit because that's where we're headquartered, but we want to make sure you guys understand, like being the University of Arizona, but global, we have opportunities in the Phoenix area, in Cleveland, Ohio. We have a small office in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have satellite offices from our other organizations across the country. We have some remote opportunities. So don't just feel like it's only Detroit just because we're talking a lot about it. We just have a very strong presence in Detroit, and our organizations have really made a strong impact on the city, and not only Detroit, but all the areas that we're focused on. So that's why you're going to hear a lot about Detroit. But without further ado, here's that video.
Rocket Companies is fully committed to the city we are based in. Our passion for Detroit has developed into an obsession with building community partnerships and driving economic growth. We grew tired of seeing Michigan's young talent graduate from high school and college with diplomas and degrees and then hop on the next flight to New York, Atlanta, or San Francisco and take their expertise there. Which is why in August of 2010, Quicken Loans moved to downtown Detroit, consolidating 1,700 team members from neighboring suburbs. Today, Detroit is the hub of operations for 120 companies and 19,000 team members working together across the city's vibrant central business district. At Rocket Companies, our team members are at the forefront of everything we do, and their safety means everything. Amidst COVID-19, we successfully moved our business and team members across the nation to a work-from-home normal. Because our team members are dedicated and passionate about the work they do, this transition of working from home was seamless and even allowed our business to grow. We also helped create an initiative called Decked Out Detroit. This effort allowed safe and fun outdoor experiences for visitors while supporting local Detroit businesses. In 2017, Detroit launched the Q Line, a modern streetcar system inspired by the transit used here until the mid-1950s. And Rocket Mortgage was the lead investor in driving the initiative forward because we know firsthand how important accessible public transit is to our team and the community we serve. Rocket Companies decided that if Detroit could retain and attract talent, it had to be a place where people wanted to live, work, and play. Join our team and be part of more than just an organization. Be part of a movement.
Right, I love that video.
Rocket
And that's actually one of our team members, Jeff. He was a part of a team that gave, sorry, I went a little too far, that gives tours around the city of Detroit to show our presence. But I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Eric to get us started about who we are.
Well, fantastic. First off, thank you guys for having us, right? So I am definitely an interactive type of presenter. So I might ask you guys to throw some things in the chat throughout this. Please feel comfortable with putting questions out there too as well. And to what Don mentioned earlier, we'll try to answer those real time. So let's talk a little about who we are as an organization. What is Rocket Companies, right? So Rocket Companies is really this umbrella of an organization. that has a couple different pillars tied to it, right? So one of those pillars is actually our Detroit location. I know Don mentioned, and you just saw a video that really showcased and talked about what we've done in the city of Detroit, as well as Cleveland, Ohio, and Phoenix, Arizona. So when you add all of those rocket companies, or RKT also as we're known by, together, you're talking about anywhere from 18 to 19,000 team members in tons of different business areas, and as well some of our family of organizations in different industries that we are tied to. Now, one of those organizations that I'm sure you guys have all heard of, because it's a marketing giant, is Rocket Mortgage, right? So in the chat really quick, how many of you have heard of Rocket Mortgage? You can just put yes, no, whatever you may want in there. Yes, I see a couple yeses coming through right now. Fantastic. So for those of you that don't know, I saw a few no's. Rocket Mortgage is the nation's #1 retail mortgage lender in the country, right? So imagine that, this organization that's really internet driven or online driven, able to service people all over the United States, making it comfortable and very efficient to your time, is one of the largest in the nation. And we've only really been in business since 1985. Now fathom that, right? I know there's other companies out there that you may have heard of. There's banks, there's credit unions, there's the Wells Fargos of the world. There's all these other organizations that do what we do, but we've found a way to make it really efficient for not only ourselves, but for you, the consumer and the client on the other end. Next slide, please, Don. So this is a snapshot of those 16 organizations that make up that brand Rocket Companies. As you can see, there's home and finance, there's home sale and search, there's auto and personal finance, there's media, and then you've got some client service and technology solutions that are built into there. I know Don mentioned earlier that we're in Cleveland, Phoenix, Arizona. We have some satellite locations. We actually do some business across the border there, right there in Detroit, over in good old Windsor. So you see some of these brands, some of these names, and if you think about it, you kind of read through them, we're very simplistic as a team, as an organization, right? Rocket Mortgage, what do you think that helps you with? The home buying process. Rocket Solar, those big solar panels that help you with that energy efficiency, right? Rocket Auto, Rocket Homes, Rocket Loans. If you notice, we like this rocket terminology and this rocket word, right? But one I have to showcase is Rocket Money, right? That's one of our newest organizations into the fold of the family of companies. It used to be called, for a lot of you, called Truebill, right? What it is a budgeting platform, a budgeting software. And really, and I don't want to spoil it, but coming here in the next couple of months, let's say, Rocket Mortgage is going to, or excuse me, Rocket Money is going to be that go-to spot that might be able to help you with a lot of different things, but it'll be the central location where you may enter some information to where not only that Rocket name can assist you with all of these different products and services to then line you to your business. I see a couple of people say, hey, I utilize it. I know Don mentioned earlier, and the same thing with myself. I got a notification earlier that said, hey, you spent way too much money in December. What's going on here? I thought you were trying to save, right? So that is what our platform is designed. It's designed to help clients with your financial tough decisions, and our job is to make them as simple as possible. Okay, next slide. So when you think about accolades, I'm not going to read through all of these for you, right? But they're there for you guys to kind of see. As an organization, we don't get all these accolades without bringing in fantastic talent and fantastic people, right? That fit a culture and add to that culture that we already have established, right? So we've already talked through some of the Detroit-based opportunities and being Fortune's best company to work for. Rocket Auto ranked #7 in Fortune magazine, right? You look through here and there's a spot for every single individual that's on this call. And right now I see there's 97. And I know that Yolanda mentioned that this is going to get shipped out to a bunch of other individuals that weren't able to join it today. So there's a spot either from a product and service standpoint to assist you or from an employment standpoint, right? Well, we might be able to help you find and land a career switch, a career move, or help you gain some experience in whatever it is that you might be looking for. But some of the ones I want to definitely point out, right? So Fortune, #1 ranked in 2021 and 22, best large company in financial and industry list, right? So that's our wheelhouse, helping people with those financial decisions. Remember how I told you, Rocket Money is going to help tie all those things together coming up very, very shortly here. Rocket Company is also named #5 best company to work for by People's Magazine. Now, listen, I don't want to date myself, but I used to watch, I didn't really used to pay attention to People magazine. Now I do, right? So that's a pretty big deal, and it's still been around. So our accolades, I can't stress this enough, aren't there without fantastic people that we have working with us and working to help our clients who are you. Next slide, please.
Right, and this one's me. So as the leader of our veteran hiring program, we're incredibly proud of all the accolades that we have related to our efforts to not only hire, but support the military community in any way that we can. We showcase that by filling out surveys and really sharing information about our success in that area. And one of the bigger ones and the more recognized brands is Military Friendly, and it's actually called Victory Media that runs that. So in 2023, we were rated a silver status veteran friendly employer, also military friendly spouse employer, military friendly company, military friendly brand. And that just means that we go out of our way to give back, support, and do whatever we can to support the military community, whether it's giving back in the philanthropic standpoint that we'll touch on in a little bit, or again, creating an entire team made up of veterans and spouses with our entire focus being on supporting you and making sure that you understand your options, the benefits that will be afforded to you, how you can take advantage of all the amenities and everything that comes with your new career here. A couple of things that really stand out is for those of you that might be currently serving in the Guard and Reserves, it's usually a big headache to try and manage finding a career that's going to allow you to grow in the military standpoint and in your civilian career. So we're incredibly proud that one of our team members, because they got called up to active duty during the pandemic, and over the 2021 timeframe, this individual was a new team member of ours, and they got called up to active duty. He's in a sales position, and his team was extremely accommodating. Let him, basically take all the time that he needed. He went beyond the 1 year mark in terms of the requirement that each organization is made to have. If you do get called up to active duty, it's only a requirement that we save your spot for a year, but we'll save it for pretty much as long as it takes, as long as you're staying in good communication and letting us know that, hey, I want to come back. We're going to do what we can to save your position as long as it takes. Your benefits are going to still be there, but this individual submitted a proposal for us to receive the highest recognition that can be given at the state level, which is the Pro Patria Award. And we were the recipients in 2022. So we're very proud of that. We're also very close partners with many veteran service organizations, to include the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, where we've been gold level veteran friendly employers since the first year that they started giving out this ranking in 2013. We are a proud partner of Vets Indexes. So we just really do everything that we can to show our appreciation and give back to the military communities in many, many ways. But I'm going to hand it back over to Eric.
Thank you for that, Don. One of the other ways, and this goes across the board when you're talking about our team members just in general, when the pandemic hit, right? We all know 2020 was probably not the best year for a lot of us, right? But for us as an organization, we have some inklings some things are going to happen, right? So introducing that Rocket Work Smart program, or Work Smart program, Rocket Smart program. This was something that was different for us. As an organization, being here for a very, very long time, coming into the office was a privilege, because you got a chance to work directly with your partners. You got a chance to feed off of the energy that we had. You got a chance to really entrench yourself in our culture and those types of things. But we were forced. You need to work from home. As an organization, always being forward thinking prior to this, it was kind of like, all right, think about certain teams are going to work from home for about a week, and we're going to see how things work. Well, we know how that escalated, right? A week turned into a month turned into 6 months, 6 months turned into a year. Just over a little bit of a year into this new normal for us, our organization pre-work said, hey, we want to make sure that you have everything in your home to conduct business as we would in the office on a day-to-day basis. True story, can't lie. I rolled my blinds up in my bedroom, on my window where my office was. UPS truck pulled up. I got 2 monitors. My sit-to-stand desk was there. And they were like, hey, here you go. This is for you. That was a snapshot of our organization, and not already knowing that our organization was different. But that's when I knew it was elite, where it made sure that the team members could still handle their function, which is serving and handling and doing what's best for a client, but being able to do it outside of the office wall. And that was different for us. So we adjusted on the fly, and we made a fantastic thing with it, where now we're still in that hybrid model. We have an internship program that, in Don's going to mention our tour duty program, but we are still tied to those things as far as we understand life happens. And 2 years into it, we understand that your things have happened for you, right? Things have changed. You're taken care of. You have different responsibilities, and you may need that flexibility of not having to come into the office. And we've accomplished that and done it as well. Next slide, please.
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay when I click these buttons. Oh,
No, you're good. So one of the things that I want to discuss and kind of talk through, and this is everything to us, right? A lot of people call them ISM. We call them isms, right? They define our culture, who we are. Most organizations have a couple paragraphs or a paragraph, and this is our mission statement. We have 20 very simplistic sentences, right, or sayings. And in that process of those 20 sayings, right, we are able to conduct business. We are able to make decisions. They help guide us. They are our guiding principles. And really, Don can attest to this, being a leader of one of our very, very powerful teams here. Sometimes leaders don't have all the answers. So you have to lean on this mission statement or these beliefs, this core, this philosophy that we have, and let that help you make some of the decisions for the business, what's right for the business and what's right for the client. Next slide, please. And here's a little bit of video to display some of these as well.
Here at Rocket Companies, we pride ourselves on having a culture that's different than any other out there. While typical companies have mission statements, we have isms, which are the philosophies our team members live by that drive all our decision making. They aren't just words or simple sayings. They're the lessons we've gathered since being founded over 35 years ago, and they fuel the company culture you're bound to feel from day one. Our isms are why we invest so much in the communities we call home, and the reason why we wake up ready to grow and innovate every day. How are we able to grow into one of the largest, most successful organizations based in Detroit? Easy. We have the kind of culture where our team members genuinely care about both our clients and each other. At Rocket Companies, we're obsessed with finding a better way, meaning our teams don't just settle for just okay or good enough, because our culture motivates us to problem solve on a daily basis and to put our clients and team first. And when you have more than 24,000 team members all heading in one direction, that's when you can make a big difference. So, if you're looking to grow your career at a company with a winning mindset and supportive culture, then come join our team. Learn more about our isms at myrocketcareer.com/isms.
Jones, if you don't mind me taking something real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to call it out. My man, Dan, that was just presenting, that is literally the man. All right.
Yes,
And he's talking about career growth. Let me tell you a little something about Dan. Dan was just becoming a leader. Like, he became a team leader when I interviewed back in 2015. He started as a temporary team member in one of our entry-level recruiting teams, just to getting his foot in the door. And that was, I think he started in 2013. Am I correct, Eric?
That is correct.
So this man started in an entry-level position in 2013. And I swear to God, last month, he got promoted to CEO of one of our organizations. That's how fast you can grow your career here, as long as you have the right mindset and you take the right steps to take advantage of all the abundant resources that we have available. And he's just a testament to what can be accomplished if you have the right mindset. Back to you, Eric.
Man, 100%, Don. I think you hit that right on the head. And I tell you what, these mission statements or these isms that we're discussing and talking to, we purposely had Dan, who is a current team member, who is someone that we see on a day-to-day basis every once in a while, right, Dan? Don and Corey. He lived these things, and that's what perpetuated his growth, right? That's what made it accelerate, right? So I'm not going to go through all of these, but there are a few that I really like. And I'm looking at this one. I love the one, ignore the noise. It's the second row down third one in from the right, if I think I'm looking at the screen correctly. It looks like a person with headphones on and the arrows pointing down, right? In the chat, really, really quickly, what do you guys think that one means? And I'll kind of give you what I think it means, what it means to me, I should say. Let you guys get a few seconds to throw some information in the chat. Ignore the outside noise. Yeah. Focus on the goal. Yeah, I love these. You guys are hitting it spot on. That's exactly it. We work not only in an environment that's different than most, when you're talking about financial services and the financial background and industry that we're in, but there's a lot going on. In one of our spaces, you can actually see what Corey there, for those of you that can see Corey in the background, he has it blurred out. It's open. We're an open, transparent, translucent type of organization. And sometimes there is noise. There's TVs, there's people with music on. Not only that, but think about your personal life, family, stress of job, loved ones, you know, those New Year resolutions that are out there. People telling you, oh, you don't need to do that. Hey, man, let's go out and get something to eat. You're like, no, I want to go to the gym and continue with my goals. But that's it. It's staying focused, eyes on the prize. That's what ignore the noise means, right? You can go to the next slide too as well for me, Don. And then my favorite that's on here is we'll figure it out. I'll raise my hand first. I live in this every single day. I was just telling Corey and Don earlier, if I did this presentation 10 times, I'd probably do it 10 different ways. And this is what I do for a living for the organization, which gives me that autonomy. But we'll figure it out. Think back to that description or that example I gave from the pandemic, right? One day you're in the office, one day you're in a working environment, seeing people face to face. Next day, it's solely FaceTime. You're using, I don't want to say her name, but that A word or the other one, Siri, or the Google one, right? That helps you get all the answers that you need. We had to figure it out and figure it out quickly, right? So these are the things, are the foundational traits that as an organization help guide us and get us to where we're at right now as one of the most successful organizations that's out there, right? So next slide, please, Don.
It doesn't, oh, yep, switch one more. Sorry, there's like a delay every time I switch these up. There we go.
No, you're good. So I know Don mentioned earlier, we were going to speak to you guys a little bit about we're more than just this for-profit vision and scheme and those type of things. Corey, I'm going to have you dive in and talk to us a little bit about Built for Zero, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Thank you.
You might be on mute, Corey. We're having a hard time hearing you. Can't hear you, Corey.
Hey, Don, while Corey's figuring that out, you want to jump in and talk a little bit about that Built for Zero initiative?
Absolutely. So Built for Zero, that is it's one of the arms of a nonprofit organization that we are the premier sponsor for. So how Built for Zero works is it's focused on ending chronic and veteran homelessness. And when we first became a partner of it, I was a little skeptical because, I mean, ending homelessness, obviously it's an attainable goal, but it's a very lofty goal. And how it works is they start by going into a city and they'll take account of the overall population. And then what is the current homelessness rate of that population? And whatever that percentage of the homelessness rate is, that is the starting 100% point. So from that initial 100%, with the resources they put into the city and taking that initial 100% down to 12% or below, that's what's called functioning zero. Once they reach that functioning zero or 12% or below, they can now take their larger resources and move on to a next city to start focusing those larger efforts while maintaining a smaller amount of resources in that city to maintain that functional zero. Because there's always going to be someone who falls on hard times or people who don't want help. So getting it down to absolute zero is a very lofty, but we're making a huge impact. And in fact, since we became the premier partner, we have drastically decreased the homelessness rate in Detroit or the veteran homelessness rate in Detroit by over 50%. So we're making huge strides and we're incredibly proud of the progress we make there.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Corey, how we doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we got
there you
you.
go.
Yeah.
See, that's what we're talking about when we said we'll figure it out, right? My mic was not working and we just said we'll figure it out, and Don went straight to it with that information about Built for Zero. So We'll kick it back over to you, Jones, talk a little bit about Rocket Mortgage Demo Day.
Fantastic. So Rocket Mortgage Demo Day. Now, I'm going to assume, right? We all know what happens when you do that, but I'm going to guess that you guys have all heard of this great show called Shark Tank, right? You got these investors, people come out, they have an idea, they shoot holes in it, they try to figure out, like, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? Rocket Mortgage Demo Day is exactly that, but it's something that we designed pre-pandemic. We used to shut the city of downtown Detroit down, put up huge tents. We made it like a party, right? We would have individuals that come on a stage, and from a large audience, a majority of them were team members and a lot of family and friends. But from there, the individuals had an opportunity to put together and discuss their business plan. We had some of our investors, some of our C-suite individuals kind of trying to poke holes through their idea. And then what we do is there are multiple individuals that win, and we will infuse $1 million into that investing business as long as that business was going to be in the city of Detroit. That was one way we made a huge splash when we first came down to the city of Detroit, based off of not having a footprint there before and coming in from the suburb. The next one is the Rocket Mortgage Classic for our sports fans out there, or non-sports fans, right? Right around that, in the middle of that golf season, right? Right in the great city of Detroit, fantastic golf event. Golfers from all over the country, PGA golfers came, and they have a fantastic event. We had our third one this past year. I was able to actually go. It was awesome. I was in awe seeing a lot of different things that these guys can do with an iron, right? And this little ball, and getting it to go in this hole. It's amazing what they can do and how they can read the greens and get a thing to spin. But it was a great opportunity for not only the golfing component, but for the city that we actually have a very large footprint in. That was the city of Detroit. Hopefully, down the line, maybe we can transition to Cleveland, maybe even over to Phoenix. I know Phoenix has already got one. Maybe we can sneak in the back door there in Cleveland and try to expand that footprint. But it's another great thing for us as far as getting our name out there, doing something that's not for profit, that's giving back to the city or the area that we're a part of, and really, really trying to make a footprint and show that we're there for not only ourselves, but as well as for the work and place that we play. Next slide, please. So some of the perks, and I'm not going to read all of these to you, right? But I am going to have Corey maybe dive in and talk about one right off the bat here. Rock Health Collective.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, the reason I was late to this meeting was because I was over at our Rock Health Collective, which is essentially a doctor's office pharmacy combo that's right here on our downtown campus in Detroit. It's for all of our team members to just walk in, have appointments. I was getting some headaches, right? They gave me some ibuprofen, no cost to me, just because it's just a fantastic opportunity that we have. What's really nice about this too is they can help you schedule doctor's appointments afterwards, right? So I went over there, I said, hey, I'm getting headaches. Without even hesitation, they're like, hey, let's get you some follow-up with some doctors, get you the proper equipment to get that looked at, right? And so they scheduled my doctor's appointment for me to follow up. They touched bases with me. They sent me follow-up emails. They made sure I was taken care of on pretty much all levels. So that's just a fantastic perk. And it's nice to be able to have, because medical bills hit you really hard, right? And so having something like that right here in our backyard allows us to have a little bit more financial freedom when we do have some emergencies come up where we have to work through those situations. Another thing I want to touch on real quick is the team member resource networks. A lot of organizations call these ERGs for employee resource groups. At Rocket, we call all of our employees team members, right? So naturally, we call it the team member resource networks. They are 13 networks within our organization that allows all of our team members to be their authentic selves, right? We have one that's dedicated specifically to our veteran community called the Veteran Resource Network, which I have the pleasure of being the president of. It's a way for all of our veterans, military spouses, those who are currently in the Guard and Reserves, to have a brotherhood, a sisterhood, very similar to when we were all active duty, right? Taking that back to what we have at Rocket Companies and making sure that all of our veterans are taken care of as far as their internal resources, what we offer, as far as the external resources. Helping our team members navigate the VA system is very beneficial to everyone included. We also do a ton of events throughout the year. We just hosted our biggest one for Veterans Day. Obviously, with Veterans Day, that's where we want to hit our big event. We just celebrated, had our first veteran award show, which highlighted the achievements of 5 individuals within the organization, which we were extremely proud of. For them going above and beyond and really bringing that military mentality to rocket companies. So that's something I like to shout out. Of course, like I said, I'm the president, so I'm a little biased, but it's my personal favorite. So back to you, Jones.
I'll add something to that too. So team member resource networks were created because that's the inclusiveness, right? That's that diversity, equity, and inclusiveness portion of our organization. Everybody has a spot. Everybody has a home, right? We're all going towards the same mission. And those are so vital to our team members because it gives you an avenue if you have those common likes or common goals, or if you just want to learn more about the organization as well. So those are important. And I'm going to go to the next slide just based off of time. And I want to kind of keep us on schedule. Perfect. So we're going to talk about the internship program, right? So there's opportunities, right? So for those of you that are looking for internship-based opportunities, right? So overall numbers of interns hired yearly, you're looking at 750 plus. Now, a large bulk of those, right around 500, 550 or so, are going to be right there in the summertime, right? This was one of those transitional programs that we took from in-person. We went virtual for about a year and a half, and now it's going to be hybrid going into this year. This gives us the ability to scour the entire United States to find the best talent. If you notice, I didn't say talent, the best talent, right? To come in and fill these opportunities and help grow. Think about that example Don used earlier with about Dan Nagoy. Very short period of time. He was a new individual coming into our industry, into our team, into our organization, and now he's running one of our organizations as the CEO. It's very, very possible, no matter what piece of experience that you have, we are willing to teach it to you as long as you are willing to and ready to learn it. Our internship program, one of the things I would tell you that sets it apart before I jump to the next slide is we don't have a mundane internship responsibilities. There's no going to get coffee, my dry cleaning, clean this area once we're done with our meeting. No, we're going to give you meaningful work. So if you were to have the privilege to work on one of the teams with Don, myself, or Corey, you're going to be doing the same thing that we do. Boots on the ground, hands in, dive in, really get to hone in on your craft. And I tell you what, the internship program and the way that I explain to a lot of individuals, especially students, is to try before you buy, right? It gives you an opportunity to say, like, what I'm learning at our university spaces, is that what I want to do with my career, right? For the next 20, 15, 30 years or so, right? Or do I need to go back and tweak and do I have some different interests? But getting that real world work experience is second to none. Next slide, please. And I'm going to pass this over to Corey.
Yeah, before I dive into the veteran hiring program and the next slide as well, when I first started, I went through something called the Tour of Duty program, which is a internship that's dedicated for veterans. And again, I'm going to talk about that on the next slide. And when Joan says that our interns, our tour of duty associates are doing the exact same thing everyone else was, I was looking back at my calendar, my third day with Rocket Companies as a tour of duty associate, they sent me to a university with the intern team to talk a little bit about our intern program. So within 3 days, they said, go to Eastern Michigan. I said, okay, might as well. And so I was down there with the rest of the team, pitching the programs, right? So, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the veteran hiring program. So myself, Don, we are part of something called the veteran hiring program here with Rocket Companies. Each member of my team was either in the military or married to someone in the military. And we made this specific so when we are helping veterans who are looking for positions, we can relate to them, right? I was in the Navy myself. I served as an aviation electronics technician from 2009 to 2013. Don was in the Marines. We can argue about which one was better all day. We know it's the Navy, right? So when we have those conversations, we can relate on that personal level. We support veterans who are applying for positions. We support military spouses who are applying for position, transitioning service members, student veterans, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's a big part of this conversation right now. Those who are currently in the National Guard and Reserves who aren't quite technically veterans, according to the government quite yet, we support them as well. And of course, team members within the organization. As I mentioned, we have those team member resource networks where we make sure that all of our veterans within the organization are being taken care of on a personal level. We started this team back in 2013 when we moved to Detroit. We did these studies and we found that Michigan was one of the worst states as far as supporting veterans. Not only one of the worst, we were behind some of our territories in terms of how much we supported veterans and military spouses. And our CEO at the time, Dan Gilbert, he said, not on my watch. So we started this team, right? We started investing back into our communities. We started doing stuff like Built for Zero. We started doing stuff like the team member resource networks to make sure that we're taken care of. Jones is a little humble here, but he is a huge part of the reason we have a veteran hiring program within the organization. So big shout out to him and all the efforts that he put into this program. And as I mentioned, one of the cool things about this is when candidates are applying, they have the opportunity to speak to our team. We'll send out an email. At the very bottom of it, it says, would you like some additional support from the veteran hiring program? And either myself or one of my teammates will reach out and have those conversations. We can help you translate your military experience and how it relates to the positions here, right? When I was first applying for a position as an aviation electronics technician, what does that have to do with being a recruiter? What does that have to do with program management? The answer is almost nothing, right? But those extra collateral duties that I was doing while I was in the military, while I was making sure our ICRL program was taken care of, while I was making sure our IMRL, our collaboration programs were taken care of, those are the type of things that we don't really talk about on our resume, right? But it makes sense when having those conversations with recruiters. This is what I did in the military. This is what I can do for you. And that's what our team, the veteran hiring program, can make sure that you are getting taken care of when you are applying for a position. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yes, sir.
Some of the programs that we support, as I mentioned, I started off as a tour of duty associate. A tour of duty associate is a 6-month internship that's designed for recently transitioned veterans and military spouses. When I first applied for a position, as I mentioned, it didn't really relate to what we were talking about. When I was speaking to my veteran recruiter, she said, you know what, I think you would be perfect for this position. So I had those conversations with Don and our previous director, and they said, you know what, we're going to take a shot. We're going to put you through this tour of duty program and see what you can accomplish. And after 6 months, I was converted to a full-time position, right? Less than a year ago, I was converted to a senior, and then again, I was converted to program manager. So within 3 years, I was promoted 4 times within Rocket companies. Not quite to the same experience as Dan DeGoy getting promoted to CEO as fast as he did, but a more realistic, you put in the work, you get the reward, right? So this program is designed to help those transitioning out of the military and use their military experience into what we do here at Rocket Companies. We have a very, very strong conversion rate for those who do want to convert to a full-time position. Not everyone wants to convert to a full-time position, right? Maybe they did it for 6 months, and as Jones was mentioning, maybe it wasn't for them. Maybe that wasn't the position for them. We can help you find additional opportunities within Rocket as well. We also are a very strong partnership with SkillBridge. For those of you who don't know, the SkillBridge program is a Department of Defense program that allows transitioning service members to use their last 6 months to work in a civilian position. Last year, Don Wright led the way on us becoming SkillBridge partners, which has been very beneficial for both us and those team members who are coming in. We've had a couple come in so far, and all of them have absolutely crushed it at what they do and got brought on as full-time team members afterwards. So my team directly hires for both of these type of positions, so tour of duty and SkillBridge. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our email. Any of us on LinkedIn will be more than happy to get you taken care of. But in addition, we also support non-tour of duty and SkillBridge positions as well, right? So any position you see after you fill out that form that Don and Jones talked about before I got here, we'll be more than happy to get you taken care of. But I'm going to kick it back over to Jones.
So I just had a chance. I looked at the clock, right? And from the sake of time, there's a video that I have in one of my slides that's coming up. I'm actually going to skip that, right? I know that we're going to send this out so you can have a chance to kind of look back through that too as well. But there's 2 business areas that I want to kind of focus on. One is going to be on the sales side and the other is going to be on technology. So sales is one of those driving factors of our business, right? At the end of the day, there's an individual that's going to be there to consult, talk to you, build a relationship, They're going to help you through that financial decision, especially when you're talking about Rocket Mortgage or Rocket companies in general. A lot of those components and companies that we spoke about have that sales or production component to it. This is an opportunity where you can come in and not only change the life of the individual that you're speaking to, but you have the opportunity to have unlimited cap earning potential. We're going to train you from the day that you get there to the day that you move up, to the day that you move on to that CEO-based opportunity like we discussed with Dan, right? We're going to train you. There will be no out-of-pocket cost to you. The biggest component when you're thinking about sales is, am I a fantastic listener? Am I a person that's a great communicator? And am I there to help individuals and want to help people? If you have those three characteristics, we can train you. We can get you prepared to become one of our mortgage experts or one of our experts when it comes to any of our services and products. Okay, next slide. This kind of focuses on some of those things that our salespeople do. We have different consistent tracks, especially from an internship standpoint. No matter if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, looking to transition in, we have different levels of that training that you're able to get based off of your experience level too as well, which then puts you right in that alignment to be able to fast track, receive leads from our organization. All you have to do at that point is reach out to them with that huge footprint that we have across the United States, and this build a relationship and get to know that individual and let that individual know that you have their best interest at heart. Next slide. That was the video I was referring to. We're going to jump right to the next one.
When I think about my
And in that video, just as we're waiting for the next slide to come up, it just talks about a path very similar to the one we explained with Dan Nagoy, how he kind of came in and started at one level. Same thing with Corey, started at one level, you get promoted, you then have the opportunity to move on to the next, to the next, to the next, to where the earning potential and the growth opportunities are there. I will tell you the special sauce is you. It's what you want to put into it is what you're going to get out of it with every single one of the positions that we have. Now, this one right here, and I'm going to come close to the screen. Don't tell anybody I said this, especially Don and Corey. Don't tell anybody. I love sales from my heart, from the top of my head to my toes. But technology is like the brain, right? Technology, without technology, none of the things that we do from a technological standpoint are possible. Our technologists, our software engineers, our individuals that are working in this tech space for us are so valuable. And we have a plethora of opportunities. We have multiple apps. We have multiple internal and external tools that we use from a technology standpoint, metrics, numbers, measurements, analytics, all of these things fall underneath that technology realm. And I want to say the fifth bullet down is really some of those technology-based tools, C++, or C#, Python, SQL, MySQL, GitHub. Those are just a few of those frameworks and technology languages that we use and we utilize for all of those family of organizations through RKT, right? Next slide. As you can see, one of the mission statements from our chairman, Dan Gilbert, who created this fantastic organization that has his hands in all of our organizations. When we moved to the city of Detroit from the suburb, it was, what are we doing to change the narrative from the city of Detroit being more of a physical standpoint, making cars, hard working, hard hat. We're still going to take that same mentality, but we want to turn it over to, let's get out there like you hear on the West Coast, right? Like that Silicon Valley mindset. What are we doing from a technology standpoint to change the game, right? So we build tech that impacts millions, right? We're doing our best to be very inclusive from a DEI perspective, right? I know we talked about that with the team member resource networks earlier. The career that works for you, our organization has tons of opportunity for you to be able to come in, learn, grow from individuals, your peers that are beside you, that are willing to step in and help you get to the next level. And then not only that, but we have it in a sense where you have that interaction with your leaders, with your teammates, with your liaison on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, where you can come and bring anything that you have on your plate. And Don can attest to this, being one of our team leaders here. Their goal is for that team leader to remove all those barriers so that you can be successful. And then flexibility and adaptability is probably one of the two strongest words that I can put into our vocabulary when you're talking about our team members, right? Being able to figure things out, adjust on the fly, not letting your highs be too high, but celebrating them, but then also celebrating those things that you look at as failures, because those are those learning opportunities which make you better. All of that being said, every single characteristic that you see on this slide right here are the things that we're looking for our very, very successful team members to come in and add to the culture, not build it, but add to the culture we already have. And I'm going to turn it over to the next slide. And I believe it goes to Don or Court.
That is correct. So I've heard a lot of people asking about educational opportunities, and I want to touch on that real quick because we have so many different opportunities when it comes to tuition reimbursement, when it comes to in-house programs. We have a platform that we call The Journey that has thousands of micro learnings, computer-based trainings, instructor-led trainings, whether it's virtual, in person. We have a partnership with LinkedIn where almost the entire catalog of LinkedIn learnings are available through our platform internally through The Journey. We have university partners that will allow you to get a degree from start to finish out of pocket, like with zero cost out of pocket to you. But for those that are already going to other universities, we have those tuition reimbursement options. Like, we just want to make sure that everyone is doing what they can to advance their educational and professional advancement opportunities. So tons of resources. But this QR code that you have on your screen here, I know many of you might not be in the market for a mortgage or a new house right now. Maybe you do have a house. Maybe you want to get a refinance. Maybe you're in the market of just moving. A lot of people are relocating from the military or want to relocate their lives, and you're going to be in the market. Maybe you just know a friend who needs a mortgage. This opportunity right here is going to be the most discount you're going to get from any organization right now. All right. By using our VIP program that is only available through this link, you're going to get an immediate $2,000 of flexible spend support. You can use that to put it towards your down payment of your home if you want. You can use it to put it towards your closing costs if you want, but that's just the start of that. All right. We also have other great resources right now called the Inflation Buster. That's, depending on how large your mortgage would be, we'll take like up to 1.5 points off of your interest rate for your first year on top of that $2,000 immediate. All right. And this is more than even our referral link. So if Corey or myself wanted to give you our personal referral link where you get some money back and then I get some money for referring you in, that's only right now, I think $1,500, which is a lot more than what it usually is. This is the most discount that you're going to get. If you click on that, it says veterans because we created this specifically for veterans. But all you non-veterans on here, if you have access to this link, you can use this resource. You just need to make sure that you use this link. And when you sign up using this link, someone will reach out and you just need to let them know this was through the partnership of the University of Arizona and Rocket Company's veteran hiring program, and you'll get that kind of support. But yes, feel free to use this. If you know any of your family, friends are in the market for a mortgage, send them this link. All right. But they can only get that much discount using this link. And we talked about Rocket Money earlier. I can't tell you how many times Rocket Money has saved me already. All right. I like to sign up for a lot of things, a lot of free trials, a lot of things that are going to, just get me some short-term access to things I'm interested in, try it out. And a lot of the times I'm too lazy to go through the long process of canceling it. So maybe I'll have it getting deducted from my bank account for a couple of months before I do go through that lengthy process of canceling it. But Rocket Money gives you the opportunity to see every recurring deduction from your bank account. And without having to go through 6 different channels of talking to people trying to retain you, you can end those with a click of a button. All right. Rocket Money gives you the ability to create a budget. They will actually negotiate your bills for you to get you more money off of your recurring bills. It's an incredible resource. And this is a 1-week free trial right now. If you want to take advantage of it, highly recommend you do so. Highly recommend that you take advantage of those paid services of canceling those recurring costs in that 7-day period, creating a budget that you can just save and use. No, this is available to everyone. All right, this is available to everyone. Again, it says veterans because this is something that we went and requested, but if you use this link, you can sign up with a 7-day free trial. It's just for everyone. But that is it for us. Questions? We have about 5 minutes. Sorry, we went a little long, but I will hand it back over to Lavonda, and we are available to answer questions. Stop my screen share. There she is. Right, so open the chat again.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Don, Corey, and Eric, we appreciate you coming. It was very informative. And it looks like we're coming close to the end of time. So I just wanted to say, if you want to connect with Rocket companies and other organizations that are actively hiring for full-time positions and internships, please log into Handshake through your student portal. And we recommend checking Handshake and UAGC Connect regularly for more career services events. In a few days, you will receive a follow-up email with links to this recording and the information that Rocket Company shared today. If you have any questions for career services, the career services team on your resume, cover letters, or job search, or if you have any questions that didn't get answered today, please email careerservices@uagc.edu or log into your Handshake through your student portal to explore more resources. Again, thank you, Don, Corey, and Eric at Rocket Companies for attending our event today. And many thanks to you, our students and graduates, for attending UAGC. And thank you for attending this event today. We look forward to seeing all of you at our future career service events. And also save the date for our spring virtual career fair, which will be held on April 26, 2023, and more information is to come on that. Thank you again, and I hope everyone has a great day.
So are we going to answer a couple of these questions while we have some time, or how's that going to happen?
There's like 3 minutes before 4 o'clock. So if there's any that you can address now, that feel free to before the recording stops.
So I see the little list. I saw a question come in about Guam, remote opportunities in Guam. Really, the only limitations that we have when it comes to location is the timing. All right. Most of our teams are going to be in either Mountain Time or Central or Eastern Standard Time. So Guam would be quite outside of that. And if you were to work remotely, you would probably be on a schedule that's going to be very uncomfortable. All right. But we've had people that work remotely from Alaska being in a very different time zone. So really, the only limitations are, what are you looking for in terms of career? And is that team willing to be flexible with you, which the answer is usually yes, if you're the right talent. I see, what does the selection process consist of? Again, we're very sought after. We highly recommend that if you're interested in anything, just start by applying to 1, maybe 3 roles. All right. Don't apply to like 20 or 30, because that might make it seem like you're not sure what you want to do. And we want to make sure that we're focused on the opportunities that are going to give you the highest success of being chosen. Let's see, career opportunities limited to entry level. We have opportunities from entry level to executive. It really just depends on your experience level. All right. So again, we're very sought after, but we want to make sure that we give everyone the opportunity to be considered. Able to consider business access. Top skills looking for when hiring candidates. Again, the top skills are going to be dependent on the opportunity. All right. We have tons of different organizations, tons of different types of career opportunities in many different industries. So it really just depends on what you're applying to and whether or not that's entry level, mid-level, leadership, executive. So those skills will vary based on industry. We have a wide selection of industries available. Students to prepare for recruitment process. Yes, get a clean resume. Make sure that your resume is easily readable. All right, something that is going to just showcase your top accolades and what really helped you impact your previous organization in a positive way. Those are things that really stand out to us. Other questions? A day in the life look like in the office? Oh man, our office environment is incredible. All right, again, every day is different, but we spare no expense when it comes to giving you all the amenities. Like every one of our floors and every one of our buildings has a full kitchen with snacks and coffee and slushies. And it's stupid how much we give back to our team members to make sure that they enjoy their time in office. Corey, am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so. I've seen a couple of questions about remote opportunities. We do have remote opportunities. All of those are available on our website. I've seen a couple of questions about how to apply. If you go to that QR code that we put at the beginning of the screen, I'm pretty sure it was just up there as well, you'll get the opportunity to fill out a talent form, and we'll send you guys information all about how to apply for any of the positions that we currently have available. Another thing is we post positions on a daily basis, meaning what you see today might be different than what you see next week, right? We're constantly growing, we're constantly expanding, so you're going to see a ton of positions. So if you're interested, just always keep your eye open. I know we're running over, Lavonda. So at the end of the day, I just want to say thank you guys for coming. If you guys have any questions, shoot them to either myself or Don, and we will be happy to get you taken care of.